everyone, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Just for today, because I am doing this as a playlist, 3 foods I store or 3 pantry items I store. So right now I'm to the videos where I'm talking about three different foods that I grow and put up and like to put up a lot of. And not just enough to get me through a year. I want enough to get me through 2 to 3 years in 1 year. And that way, if for some reason, especially with the stuff, either I can't get it all, like the stuff I'm going to buy in store, or the stuff that I grow myself, you never know when you might have a bad year for whatever reason, be it weather, be it pests, whatever. Or maybe just the inability because you're having some kind of health problems that you can just simply cannot garden. Or some other life crisis where that whole thing has got to sit on hold for a while. And I want to know I have enough of these very important foods that I can use in so many different ways in my pantry to get me through a few years, to get me through whatever may happen as far as gardening goes or my ability to garden. Number one, I'm not going to say it's the number one thing. Well, maybe I will say it's the number one thing, only because when I first started really thinking about gardening, this was years ago. This is before I felt, that we had to garden to save money or we had to garden to have a hedge of protection against inflation and all that. It was about wanting good tomatoes. Because the tomatoes in the store never have flavor, at least out here where we're at. And I really wanted to grow my own tomatoes because I use tomatoes so much through the year. And I know I've shared before how one of the first things besides flour, because I've always done a lot of baking, that was important for me to stock up on, make sure I had a lot in my pantry, was whenever the store had not the stewed tomatoes, but the crushed tomatoes on sale. Those are my favorite because I can use them in so many ways. I can use them to make salsa. I can use them to make sauces. And so whenever they had the big size, it used to be, I think at one point, 16 ounces. Now they're like 15. Last I was buying them years and years ago. They're probably like 13 or 14 ounces now because of shrinkflation. But I'd buy the bigger size when they would go on sale and stock up on a bunch because I always needed them. And then I'm like, man, I really want to grow my own tomatoes. When Patrick first built the greenhouse we have right now, it was for the sole purpose of growing tomatoes, and that's all I grew in there. And that's mostly still what I grow in there, though. We've got shelves in there now where I'll grow the hot peppers or I'll start seeds for things I'm going to grow outside, and maybe have a few other things. Like now I've planted a few cucumbers in there, but still it's mostly tomatoes. Because tomatoes to me have so many uses. But the number one thing for me is making my Italian sauces that I use for homemade spaghetti, homemade lasagna, homemade pizza, homemade ravioli. I know there's one I'm forgetting. And then I use the tomatoes in making chili. And I also use tomatoes as my base for making things like enchilada sauce or tamale sauce. And though a lot of times, traditionally, the more authentic way was to use chilies, but I can grow tomatoes and I learned how to make these things with tomatoes. So tomatoes is always going to be my base. And then I also like to add them to soups and whatever through the year, meatloaf, whether it be the tomato flakes or the little diced dried tomatoes, either way. When it comes to soups, I do like adding the diced tomatoes in certain sauces, but mostly it's the tomato flakes I use. Oh, barbecue sauce. There's another one, another sauce that I like to make. The number one way I put up my tomatoes now, I used to always can them, but the number one way I do it is I process them fresh in a blender, pour them out on my silicone trays. I dehydrate them. I flake them. I do not powder them. I flake them up and vacuum seal into jars. And right now I'm going through jars from 2021. And because I put up a lot. And there's several reasons why I like it this way. One is that by doing that, I can just do it as they're coming in. I don't have to worry about running my canner, and I can save a lot of space in my pantry. I can have so much more tomatoes put up in the form of dried in one small area than I ever could when I was canning them. I can still take those and I can make salsa from them or make any of these things. In fact, I just made spaghetti this last week with the sauce using tomato flakes. In fact, everything that went in my sauce was dehydrated. Just add water or some kind of broth and cook it up. And you can, if it's, I never measure, I just start putting stuff in there. If it's too thick, add a little more water. If it's too thin, add some more tomato flakes. I don't have to have a tomato paste because the more of the dried flakes I add, the more it's going to thicken up without the need for a tomato paste. So I can make anything from a tomato soup or a salsa to a nice, rich, thick sauce. And I can do all that with tomato flakes. So it is a very important crop for me to grow. And yes, eat some fresh, of course. There's hardly much better than a nice warm tomato fresh off the vine out of the greenhouse. Oh my goodness, so good. But then a little salt if you have it, but with those homegrown tomatoes, it's not as necessary as those tasteless ones you get at the store. And so that is a very important crop to me because the way I use it, and I have a lot of tomatoes put up this way, a lot. And I will keep always putting up a lot in case I ever have a bad year where I don't, for some reason, none of my tomatoes make it. And I got to have my tomatoes. So always will be putting up a lot. Okay, another one would obviously be potatoes. Potatoes are a good calorie source, carb source for energy, and also because there's so many things you can do with potatoes. You can have mashed potatoes and fried potatoes and baked potatoes, butter baked potatoes, especially them little baby, potatoes, little small ones, and hash browns, French fries. You can even make your own potato chips. I've done that. They're really good, but it's not something I do much. It's mostly going to be fried or mashed potatoes is the two main ways that we're going to use them, or throwing them into soups, or with a roast like I did yesterday when I threw those potatoes into the crock pot with the roast. And don't forget the thinly sliced potatoes for making moussaka or scallop potatoes, if you like that. Anything where you're going to have those sliced rounds of potato. Mine always get used for making moussaka when I use them. So my favorite ways to put up potatoes now are the dry canned, meaning I'm still canning them in, a pressure canner, but I'm not adding water to the jars when I can them. There's some special steps you got to take to do this, such as you want to strain them really good, then you mix in some butter to coat them all. And some people will tell you, oh, that's really dangerous, you shouldn't do that. You do what's best for you. I decided last year to try it, and I'm like, when it comes to canning potatoes, this is the best way to do it. I've done it when I first started canning and I was canning potatoes. I did it the way I was reading in a few different places that said you're supposed to cook the potatoes first and then you can them in water. Hated them. And then after that, I put them in the jars raw and then added the water and canned them. And that just obviously cooks them. And those were decent. I didn't mind using them in potato salad, but they still weren't great for like frying up and adding to other things. The only way I could seem to handle them, or not handle them, the only way I really seemed to like them at all was using for potato salad. But the dry canned potatoes just turn out better all the way around. And you can fry them up. They're already cooked, so you just fry them on a high heat. You could mash them up if you wanted. I probably wouldn't do that. You can throw them into soups and stews and however you want to use them. They're great. and making potato salad. I haven't made potato salad out of those yet because I usually only do potato salad once or twice during the summer season. The other way I like to put them up, which is really nice to have on hand, is to mash them, make mashed potatoes, not add a bunch of fancy stuff to it, just mashed potatoes, and then dehydrate them and then powder them up. Now, they take longer to cook up as a mashed potato than the instant mashed potatoes you buy at the store. I'm guessing those are either freeze dried or who knows what they do to those. I never bought those, but I mean, not for at least a good 30 years or so. I don't even know if I've ever bought them since I've been married. And we've been married for 36 years. So I don't know if I've ever bought them. But these are more grainy when you dehydrate and powder them, but they still cook up nice. You can cook them in broth to add some nice flavor, or just in plain water, and then add your milk, and then add some butter, salt, whatever you want to add to them. I've used some to make coal cannon, and I've used some to make a shepherd's pie. They are nice to have on hand. And again, it's a way you can put up your potatoes long term. And when you need to make mashed potatoes, and maybe it's later in the season and you're out of your more fresh potatoes you have in cold storage, well, you just pull down a jar of your mashed potato granules and cook them up, and now you've got mashed potatoes. It doesn't take that long to cook. It just takes longer. Where like instant mashed potatoes, you can basically just even add cold water and they'll just absorb the water, and now they're mashed potatoes, cold and kind of nasty. But you have to actually kind of cook these, even, for them to really rehydrate well. But I really like that. And again, it saves a lot of space in the pantry. And then the only other way I'll dehydrate them now. I didn't do this last year. I might do this at some point. But the one year I did the video on dehydrating potatoes where I had diced and sliced. The sliced ones were great. The diced ones, I'm guessing, it's harder to tell if they're dry all the way through when you dehydrate them. And so it's pretty clear I had some jars where I put the potatoes in there assuming they were fully dry because they felt like it, but they must not have been fully dry because they ended up getting moldy or just smelling nasty when I went to open them up. So I had to throw a lot of those out. But all the sliced ones are great. They've been great. Some of them have darkened. Not all of them, but some of them have, but the flavor's still good. They don't smell bad. So I'm still using those, and I'll still put them up that way because it is really nice to have those when I want to make moussaka and I don't feel like peeling and slicing potatoes. Or maybe I don't have any potatoes to peel and slice. So you just cook them in some hot water for a little bit, and then they'll rehydrate, and then you make your scalloped potatoes, your moussaka, your whatever it is you're going to make with the thin sliced potatoes. And then if I was ever to do diced potatoes again, I would cut them much smaller. I would cut them really, really small. So Mother Earth Products, I was buying some diced potatoes from them, dehydrated. And their size is real small, and those are perfect, actually, I find, for adding to soups. So that's the size I'd probably do if I do decide to dehydrate them in a diced form. I'm not sure if I'll do that, but I might. Okay, so that's the potatoes. I was going to talk about a different garden thing, but since the picture I used for my thumbnail was a picture of tomatoes with zucchini, I decided I'll just talk about zucchini, and I'll save the other ones for the next 3. Because I have several that are main staples that I have to grow. So the thing I really like about zucchini, at least where we live, is it's very easy to grow. So we live in a place, as a lot of you know, just gets a lot of moisture. Zucchini likes a lot of water. So it loves it here. It doesn't get too hot for zucchini here. And it tends to just go ballistic. And you have zucchini coming out your ears, which I love that. I love having zucchini that I can give away. So not only can I put up a lot of zucchini, if I'm just getting far more than I have time to put up, I can give it away to someone who could use it. And there's always somebody happy to take it, believe it or not. But zucchini, because of its mild flavor, has so many uses. I've done a few videos of the many uses of zucchini. But the number one ways that I use it is I like to dice them up and dehydrate them. And then from that point, they can be used in so many ways. They can go into soups, they can go into sauces. You can rehydrate them and use them in stir fries. You can powder them and then add them to breads to add more nutrition, cut back a little bit on the flour if you want to do that. So you're getting a little less of the carbs and a little more vegetable. It actually makes your breads nice and soft. Usually I'll only use about a quarter cup or so of the squash powder, whether it be coming from zucchini or pumpkin or any other kind of squash, to a bread. I keep saying one of these days I'm going to try up in the ratio even more just to see what happens. But at least with that, I know I'm adding more nutrition, but it also adds a nice soft texture to the bread. There's the pineapple zucchini, which is a nice treat. That's just something usually just I eat, or the grandbabies. Sometimes when I remember I have it, I do have some back there. I did not last year, but the year before last. And I wouldn't say it's my absolute favorite thing, but it is just a nice treat to have on hand. And if you like pineapple in cottage cheese or something like that, you can mix your zucchini pineapple in with cottage cheese. And I do have a video on this I did a few years back. And it doesn't have to be pineapple zucchini. It could be black cherry zucchini or raspberry zucchini or apple zucchini or whatever you want it to be. It just depends on the juice you're going to cook and can it in. And then it's going to, because zucchini has such a mild flavor, it's going to take on the flavor of whatever juice you can it in. I don't do this a lot or do a lot of this, but I have actually canned zucchini, pressure canned it, diced, so I can just have that to use as is. It does get a little mushy. I've also chopped it up and frozen it, and again, it gets a little bit mushy, but it can be a good option to have on hand, one or the other, the canned or the frozen, but really the dehydrated I find to be the most versatile. I think that's it. So I better get going. I'm sure you guys got to get going. You guys have a life too. Thanks so much for coming in. Take care and God bless.